Thank you for tuning into the Guitar Department. I'm your host, Joe Alton. Today, on this episode, Catherine Severing-Fox, Chad Elliott, the Weary Ramblers are here, finally, at last. Stay tuned, it's going to be a great show. Welcome to the Guitar Department.
So we're going to start with a tune of ours called Tall Virginia Tree, and we wrote it when we were en route to a music festival out in North Carolina, but we wrote this in Virginia, which is why it's called what it is, and we wrote it at the Carter Family Fold, along with a couple other tunes that day, and it was a really inspiring environment to be creative in. The music was flowing through the air for us already, so this is Tall Virginia Tree.
They say the branch is only strong as the fruit that it holds. So love, won't you hold me now? Will you help me to stay strong? There are warning signs around. The branch is bending down to the ground, and I've been too strong for way too long. Wildwood flower, here's a song he used to sing, and the comfort that it brings still makes me smile. That mountain breeze, stirring, changing leaves, in that tall Virginia tree, standing guard. And I've been too strong for way too long. They say the branch is only strong as the fruit that it holds. So love, won't you hold me now? Will you help me to stay strong? There are warning signs around. The branch is bending down to the ground, and I've been too strong for way too long. right, this next one is called "Oh Carolina." We wrote this in North Carolina.
Yeah.
We were playing a festival down there, a songwriter festival in Boone, North Carolina, and
Yeah, we were staying in a beautiful place.
Yeah.
There's an entire wall of just all windows, and we were looking out it and just seeing all the spider webs in the trees covered in dew, and then Chad also came up with a great line.
yeah, all the rocks were dripping with dew, and so I said we should write a song that starts with, "Did you know that the stones in this place like to cry?" So,
And this
and then we
happened.
just wrote it right there. This is "Oh Carolina." Did you know that the stones in this place like to cry in the morning, all wet with dew? And the sun likes to shine through the webs made at night by the spiders, tired from the work. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. I miss the days when Grandma chased away all the ghosts that came in the night. Now all I see are the webs glistening in the willows in the sunrise. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Grandpa used to work from dawn up to dusk as the swallows danced in the sky. Now all I see are the birds that greeted Grandpa coming home, tired from the work. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina. Oh, Carolina.
And we are back, and I'm sitting here with the Weary Ramblers, Catherine Severing Fox, Chad Elliott. Thank you guys so much for being here. Catherine, you are back. This is your second time on the
Yeah.
show.
Happy to be here,
It's the type
Joe.
of excitement I was looking for. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Chad, thank you so much for being here. It was
Thank
great to
you.
meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you.
I have every question for you guys. I want to start with, so last time when you were here, we talked about how you and Chad sort of came together to form the group. I would like to hear Chad's side of that story. Chad, tell me on your own end what the inspiration for starting Weary Ramblers was and how it all came together.
It began, well, it was during the pandemic. You know, I found out that there was a fiddle player in town. I'm like, what's going on here? And I started paying attention to her live streams and her original songs, and I loved her playing as well, her piano. And I was doing a lot of painting during the pandemic, and I was doing these videos and trying to find stock music that worked good, but I was like, man, I should just ask Catherine to maybe throw down some instrumental stuff for it, because it makes sense to use somebody that I actually will know, and it worked out great. We did a few of those, and then I started paying attention to her songwriting, and I thought, wow, this is a cool, hopefully when things open up we'll be able to play together, and we kind of struck it off there.
And so Catherine, you have been known as an instrumentalist for a long time prior to your sort of birth as a songwriter. How does that transition come to you, where you just suddenly, it's been years, you know what I mean? If you look at your resume, it's extremely impressive as a fiddle player. And then all of a sudden you're like, I should write songs too.
Yeah, you know, I think actually that was a big transition into that, but even bigger transition I think was singing more. My mom's an opera singer. My parents are both retired high school choir directors, and so I kind of shied away from doing a whole lot of singing. Part of why I chose to be an instrumentalist, because I was like, okay, this is in their world, but not really.
So it was a form of rebellion.
Well, kind of, and it was just because I didn't want to have to, not that they were doing this, but I didn't want to have to live up to that level, you know, and just wanted to have my own thing enough. So that was the bigger thing, I think, that I hadn't started really singing at all until I played with him, you know, and we got together, and I was like, oh, okay, he thinks like I should sing more. This is cool, you know. And the songwriting was kind of, my sister is a poet, and so she was sending me some words, and I started writing music to that, and so that kind of ended up being the transition into my creating, you know, everything that goes into a song then. But I think it was kind of, I have this habit of, like, when I wanted to learn how to ride a bike, I didn't do it until I knew that when I got on it, I was gonna not fall. And so with songwriting, I think some of that was, I had imposter syndrome, like, why would anyone want to hear what I have to say in a song, you know? But I wanted to wait to really do it until I felt like, okay, I'm not gonna write crap, you know? And that's not me saying like, oh, my songs are amazing. It's not even about that. It's just, I have such a fear of being inadequate, probably, you know, that I just was careful and waited this long to kind of dive into that world.
So you didn't even write songs then on like a personal level for your own sake. You just sort of stuck to the instrumentation. And then it sounds like your first songwriting experience was also a collaboration with somebody.
Yeah, with my sister.
Right.
Yes, yeah, and that felt like a very safe environment to do that in. So,
I assume, I mean, obviously you guys are a great songwriting team, as I'm assuming our audience is on board with now, having seen the songs you guys have just played. But do you still feel that sense of security, or is there more of a sense that you can take more risks having a songwriting partner as a safety net?
I've tried to write with other folks, and it's hard for me to really get into it. Mainly it's because I noticed with Catherine there's a vulnerability with her writing right away, which is the hardest thing, I think, as a writer. And as a songwriter who's been doing this for, you know, almost 30 years, it's been one of those things where you hear songwriters that are good writers, but the vulnerability aspect is missing, and that's what crowds will feel but not understand why they're not tied to the song as much. And so with that vulnerability, it was really easy to kind of co-write. I tried to write in Nashville with several folks, and I've tried to write with friends in the past, and with Catherine it was just really effortless because we were both no ego involved in it. We were just kind of trying to write a good song, but also we were sharing, you know, and being vulnerable in our songs. And that's a hard wall to break down for people.
Yeah. Well, I felt too, the first time that we wrote together, we wrote 3 tunes after the show that we had in Keosauqua at this hotel. And what was interesting about that was I had not yet kind of workshopped lyrics much with anybody before. And so I was watching him kind of stream of consciousness just like push words out like it was nothing, you know, and which is crazy. Like even on our shows, he'll do that and just make up a song on the spot, and no one would ever know. But so when we started writing, I was like, okay, he's coming up with things really fast, and I'm so caught up in, okay, is what I'm about to say not worth being heard, you know? And that's something he's really helped me kind of try and push through, and I think I've gotten to a better place with that, of just kind of spitting things out and just putting it out there and not overthinking it, you know? And he's created, and we've created, I think that space for each other, you know, to have that.
And
so
how do you guys, so to preface this question, I asked you this a bit off camera, but you just put out an album in September. Chad, you put out an album last year, and I'm reading up on your bio, it was like your 24th or 25th album.
Yeah, 25th.
So we're not talking about some novice songwriter here. How do you guys differentiate which songs belong as the group for the Weary Ramblers, or which ones? Is it just the songs you guys write together? Do you come to Chad with an idea or vice versa and think, well, maybe he can help me finish this idea, maybe it would be improved?
Yeah, we do all of the above, I think.
Yeah. I think it flows pretty evenly. There are tunes too that he's perhaps written the whole thing, but it's still a Weary Ramblers sound.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we might talk about how he wrote it, but we're going to do it on shows. So we do a balance of co-writes and ones that each of us have written respectively, but the song wouldn't be what it is without the other person, if that makes sense, even if they didn't also write the words and the melody.
Yeah,
like,
totally. As a song like Junkie, trying to always write songs, finding inspiration is really key, and like little tools, little tricks, like I'm going to write a song like Tom Waits today, but then when I think about what we're going to do, I can write a song based on that, just going, oh, I know what I want from this, and this needs fiddle, this needs harmony, it's got to have Catherine on it, and so I find that was just like another door opening, going, oh man, get a lot more songs out of this, you know, when you have a collaborative partner, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so you guys intentionally write songs for the Weary Ramblers as well as writing songs for your individual shows and performances. And you see there is a difference between what you would write as a solo artist versus what you would write as a duo. Do you guys look towards, because there's a long tradition of folk duos out there, and your harmonies are very evocative of that, if I'm sure you're aware.
Yeah.
Do you guys listen to other duos, or who do you draw inspiration from for that sound that you're trying to go after?
I mean, I like Watch House. They were originally Mandolin Orange, you know, but I've also been super in love with Mary Gaucher and Jamie Harris and what they're doing together, even if a lot of the time they might be doing their own respective tunes, but when they come together, their harmonies are so genuine, you know, and I don't know, there are a lot of examples, I guess. What
for me it was definitely like Simon and Garfunkel, the Louvin Brothers, and then Everly Brothers, big fans. But also I was in college when I was learning guitar, and there was this touring duo that would pass through, and their name was
Story Hill.
Yeah, Story Hill,
Story Hill,
which is a folk group out of Montana and Minnesota, and I became friends with them. But like, I was a huge fan, and I learned a lot of their guitar riffs and their harmonies, and nobody to sing harmony with. But I've always loved Indigo Girls. Yeah, all those.
There are a lot.
All those duos.
Yeah, and just say we could name drop all day.
Yeah.
And speaking of your guitar playing, you play in a very unique style. We talked a little bit about this off camera, but you have sort of a blend of like a Travis picking traditional, like a Doc Watson style, mixed with this sort of, I don't want to call it a modern technique, but this sort of like this sort of percussive slap that you do while you're playing. Sort of filling in the gaps a bit for the fact that you are just a duo and you don't have a drummer or bassist.
And for years I was solo, so it was kind of like trying to get that rhythmic punch, you know, that will give it a groove, you know.
Would you give us a quick
Oh,
riff
yeah.
on
Yeah, absolutely.
by the way, beautiful road weary Gibson you got there.
Thanks. I've earned every mark.
That thing has been through the ringer. You've definitely slapped it more than once.
So I do kind of a combination, like you were saying, with Travis picking. But I do a sweep because I used to not like having a pick, so I would sweep without the pick, and then eventually it hybrid into the picking and the strumming thing. So like. So you can get them. I do a lot of that Dave Moore kind of and Mississippi John Hurt kind of thing. This little short little ditty.
That was great. And now, Catherine, of course, he mentioned, when he was talking about his awareness of you, like, oh, there's a fiddle player in town, and boy, is there ever. So not only do you, you're just sort of everywhere freelancing right now. You got Golden Bear Studios must be calling you like twice a week to head out there.
Yeah, Brian keeps me busy, which I'm grateful for.
I imagine so.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what you're holding right now. This is Lucy, correct?
Yeah, this is my baby. Yeah, this was a cool custom build by a good friend of mine that lives in Nashville, and his name is Kyle Pudens. And I had seen that he was building electric instruments, and I don't even know what to call this because it's really a hybrid between a violin and a viola. So I still have to figure out like some actual classification for what this even is. I don't know. But I knew that I just really wanted to have something to experiment with more that like effects would be even stronger on than on acoustic instruments, and just I don't know, I like new toys. so I contacted him, and I got to choose everything that went into this, like the stain, the kind of wood. It's made from 100-plus-year-old spruce from an old piano, which is cool. I got to choose the knobs, like every single part of it I got to choose, and told him I really wanted something dark sounding. I don't want some abrasive, bright instrument, because I'm a viola player at heart that plays violin, but I play violin like a viola player. And so I wanted this to, kind of resonate with me and what feels good to me. So, yeah, he really kind of knocked it out of the park with this one.
Do you feel like it's altered your playing in a significant way, or has it evolved you as a musician having an instrument? It's a 5-string viola, violin, violence, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Violence.
Yeah, violence. Actually,
about
that's
right.
really funny.
Yeah.
Maybe I should use that. No, it has, because it's also almost like an alter ego that happens when I
don't
pick
touch
it up.
her. I think she's haunted.
Well, my friend was having problems with certain parts of the process, and so he kept calling it Lucifer, and so her name is Lucy. But so I do find...
So violence kind of fits.
Yes,
Yeah,
it does. Violence,
totally.
yeah. When I play this on shows, I definitely do more texturized playing that can be different than what I do on my violin, because there's some more clarity to it. Like I'll do false harmonic things and stuff, and things that are almost like classical, like tremolos and ponticello things, and things that I haven't done in years, but it just sounds cool on here. And so, yeah, I have a different approach with this, which is why it comes out only on certain songs. Yeah.
And to hear those songs, you're going to have to go see a Weary Ramblers show.
Yeah.
Check out wearyramblers.com, and also follow them on Facebook, Instagram, all the socials.
Yeah.
Before we go, you had mentioned, Chad, that part of your inspiration to get in contact with Catherine in the first place was to put music over some videos of your artwork.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Elliott Art Studio. So briefly, can you describe what Elliott Art Studio is for our good people?
Absolutely. I've kind of been doing art since I was a kid, and that's what I went to school for, was art. And so when I went to the pandemic, I was doing all these Kickstarter campaigns before the pandemic to raise funds for albums, but I found that most of the sales from the paintings on my Kickstarter were funding everything. So I was like, oh, during the pandemic, before the pandemic hit, I was like, I'm going to take maybe 6 months off the road and just paint. And just then I found out the month later, I was like, oh, we're taking the whole year off. Okay. So I started painting more and more, and it supported the whole family doing that. And I was like, I think I want a building. So we moved to Jefferson, Iowa, and I've got this building down on downtown Jefferson. It's kind of my dream place where I can create music. I've got a little recording demo studio, and then we've performed there. We have a performance space for touring artists passing through Iowa, and then I make paintings, and I have a clay. I've got a pottery wheel and a kiln and everything. So
That sounds like a lot of fun.
yeah.
I found it amazing how many stories from the musicians I've had on the show start with, well, during the pandemic, and then just the inspiration that came from all of us being shut inside 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I'm being told we have to wrap this up. I honestly could talk to you guys all day. Would you stick around and do one more song for us?
Heck
Absolutely.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Chad Elliott, Catherine Severing-Fox, the Weary Ramblers. Thank you for tuning into the Guitar Department. I've been your host, Joe Alton. I want to thank Catherine Severing-Fox and Chad Elliott, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
Happy
you.
to be here.
So the Weary Ramblers have an album coming out, correct?
Yes,
You guys
we
are
do.
finishing up mixing as we speak.
Yes, on Monday.
Give me any information you guys have on that real quick.
Yeah, it should be out in the next, I want to say 2 to 3 months probably. It's quite a process, and we just finished up having Pieta Brown sing some harmonies on a couple of the tunes too. So, sometime late spring, early summer, it'll be out, and I'll make sure to announce it on all the socials and everything. And we did it at Golden Bear Studios here in Des Moines. We got Steph Graham on there. We've got obviously Brian Vanderpool doing some stuff.
Yeah, Aaron Ehrlich.
Aaron Ehrlich doing a little jazzy clarinet on one of them, which is going to be fun.
We're excited.
Yep.
It's going to be a self-titled.
Yeah,
so.
self-titled, and Blake Van Houten did a bunch of merch stuff for us too. So, yeah.
Where can we find that merch? Where can we figure out where you guys are playing?
Yeah.
How can they follow you guys?
Well, I'm actually planning on, and we are planning on creating a Kickstarter at some point here in the next couple weeks. That'll basically kind of almost be like a pre-ordering of merch. So it'll be on there, but it'll definitely be something we regularly have with us this summer is all that stuff, posters and everything too, stickers. So but that'll also probably be on our website. And
WearyRamblers.com.
Yeah, WearyRamblers.com.
You guys are on Facebook, Instagram.
Yes.
All of the things.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. It's been a pleasure to have
Thanks,
you back.
Joe.
It's been really nice to meet
Thank
you,
you.
Chad.
Great
Please
to
come
meet you.
back sometime soon.
Definitely, yeah.
Would you guys play us out with one more song?
You bet.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you guys so much. The Weary Ramblers, everybody.
I bottled up my poetry on that ring you gave to me. Got too tired of the same old song. Dirty river, come take me where we're going, I can't see. Once again, I'm falling to your fold. There's a thirsty man who walked all the way to the sea. That cool, dirty river's holy water for me. I can't sink it, I can't swim. Catfish feelings back again. Oh, dirty river, clean my soul. If you don't ask, I won't tell. I won't risk me catching hell, just so you can bend me to your will. I would like to remind you of a man you once loved, tried and true. All the holes he left I can't fill. There's a diamond in the rough, I am not. I'm more like bottom feeder that you caught. I can't sink, I can't swim. Catfish feelings back again. Dirty river clean my soul. You can lead a man to the kitchen sink, but you can't make him take a drink if he don't want to help himself. It's kind of like that thirsty horse, you can lead him straight to the source. If he's stubborn as a mule, it don't help. So don't work too hard when it's hot outside. That cool, dirty river's all you got sometimes. I can't sink and I can't swim. Catfish feelings back again. Oh, dirty river clean my soul. No, a diamond in the rough, I am not. I'm more like that big old bottom feeder that you caught. I can't sink and I can't swim. Catfish feelings back again. Oh, dirty river clean my soul.